Right, let's see. Is that working? I think it is. Evening, everyone. As per usual, click the thumbs up thing beneath the video, and that way I know it's working and you can hear me. That would be great. Let's see who's here. Evening, Roger Elaine, Jansen's, Peter C, Gary, Peter and Stella. Evening, all. Hope you're all well. Have a jolly weekend. I've been super busy. Tea. Right, it's really bad again tonight, isn't it? Never mind. I just had to chuck a top on quick because I realised I've got a green t-shirt on which disappears against the green screen behind me. So a really spooky floating head makes you look even more weird than usual. Not very pleasant. Anyway, not to worry. So a few things to look at tonight. New things on the website that I've been working on. A few little quick snaps of bits and bobs that are coming for the next auction, which I'll start cataloguing properly next week. And then I've been rummaging around and found some lovely little videos from the late 20s to the late 60s of Blackpool illuminations. I thought was rather fun, as it's kind of the beginning of the tourist season this weekend. I thought it would be fun, just because I like to do things differently, to look at what's traditionally the end of the tourist season, i.e. the Blackpool illuminations, which I haven't seen for. I think last time I was there was before the whole lockdown nonsense. So yeah, hopefully perhaps go up this year and have a look. That'd be good. Evening, David. Evening, Greg. So where should we start off? I think there's 6 little videos. They're only like half a minute long. They're not very long. So let's start off by having a look at new things that are coming for the sale, shall we? Hang on a minute. Let me click the right button. This one, I think. A couple of banners I took some slightly better snaps of because I moved them from where they were at a funny angle in the garage where I couldn't photograph them very well. Jansen says, I got a new exhibit supply love meat from around 1930, the heart-shaped one. Would you like some pictures to catalogue? Yes, please. Sounds good. Yeah, I haven't put your other ones up yet you sent me, but I will do. It's been very busy over the weekend, as you'll see in a minute. But yes, excellent. Send any pictures, anything you know. Yeah, of the whole thing. If there's any interesting details as well, it's really good. A little close-up if there's a particular artwork on it, or the mechanism, or anything that could be interesting. That's always good to see. So yeah, so quickly flicking through these pictures. As I say, this stuff I'll get catalogued properly next week. I think there's more bits coming in later in the week. There's some big machines coming in. They won't be here for about a fortnight probably. I think there's a pussy shooter, a crane, a pinball or 2 possibly. I can't remember what else there is, what else the chap said now, but obviously we'll see it when it comes in. As soon as I've got it here, I'll take some quick snaps again. So again, already it's looking like being a good sale. This is the end of May the 28th. Some fairground bits. I think there's more fairground bits coming in. Yeah, and whatever else we can rummage up, really. That was a fun little skittle game. I was just playing with that. It's kind of a spring-loaded plunger, but you can kind of pull it back and cock it, I suppose, if you like. Load your marble in and then fire it. That's a fun little thing. So there we are. All good stuff. They've all gone around once now. I think they have, haven't they? Yeah. Right, so back over to the website, the Colcon website. I've been busy sorting these factoid things out. So the only really place they show at the moment will be on machines, because that's what I've started off with. And as my usual experimental page, I work on Brian's, because that's what we've got the most information on, basically. I sell the most machines probably over the years. So we've got this factoid, as I call it, which is basically a way of documenting history without it being too laborious, because if you try and sit down and write a whole article on something, it's a bit daunting, takes a long time, and especially trying to encourage anybody else to do it is even more daunting. But so this is just like tiny little snippets of information, almost as short as you can make them, pretty much, in a way, and ideally with a date on it. So all these little bits of information, then filter down into date order, and kind of make a storyline, if you like, automatically. So there's links in them to certain machines. I can send links across to different things, put videos in them and images. I haven't finished the image bit for this yet, to just sorting the display out, how they display neatly on the screen. But so that's the idea with that. So that can apply to all makers of things, so be it makers of machines or writers of books, builders of fairground rides, and so on. It'll be anything where I've got maker names listed down. They'll go in there for now. And then in due course, I'll do something similar on the sort of individual item pages, i.e. machine pages, etc. So if there's anything particularly interesting about a particular type of machine, then they'll fit on there. So I'm going to rearrange these pages a little bit, change the layout. Also going to do a bit of work on the price history thing to make the columns sortable. It doesn't matter when it's like 3 or 4 results like this. But for example, on if we look at some of the Brian's machines, like what do we sell a lot of? A clock that's 44 prices there, for example. On the 12-1 clock, if we click on that, so make it so you can sort the columns, because at the moment they sort by auction order, newest at the top. That's the way they come out of the database, but you can't change any of these. So I'll make the columns clickable, is the idea. So you can sort them by price, see which was the cheapest, which was the most expensive, as well as the date, newest to oldest, and vice versa. So that might be useful in due course, as there's with things where there's lots of results of. If you want to see, well, why was that one so expensive? And why was that one so cheap? Then you can click in, obviously zoom into the pictures and see maybe perhaps one was really rough, or one was particularly well restored, or whatever it may be. So that's another little useful feature, hopefully, that's in the pipeline. As I say, as I change the layout of these pages to get, just trying to cram more information in the real estate of a page, if you like. Also with the photographs, I'm going to change these a little bit. So because some of the machines where they've got several photographs of each lot. So at the moment on the price history results table, it just shows kind of the main picture for each item. Years ago they only ever got one picture each, or some of them didn't even get one at all. Now of course I always try and take 3 or 4 pictures of each thing. But the pictures all end up just the way the program is to start with, all in one chunk at the bottom here. So for instance, I think these 4 pictures probably belong with this machine. So they'll sit in just in a row in here somewhere. So you can figure out which picture goes with which machine better. So again, that's a bit more bit more work to do on those pages. So that's that. We go back to the home thing. So then I've added a whole new section in called attractions, for want of something better to call it at the minute. I think that's what it's going to have to be called. So the idea is here that we'll list, I'm sure many of you, like me, and most people who collect anything kind of amusement related, whether it be machines or fairground stuff or circus stuff or amusement park stuff or whatever, are interested in the places as well as the stuff, i.e. where did your machine come from, or where did your bit of artwork come from, or your sign, or your books, or your brochures, or whatever it was you happen to collect. So it'll be listed in various parks, piers, any kind of attractions we can think of. So the one I've been working on at the moment is Blackpool Tower. This is my sort of demo page to myself. So again, it'll be the same kind of thing. Another factoid timeline, which again can have videos dropped in it. These little videos are videos we've watched in the past live streams, and photos in due course, and so on and so on and so on. So the same kind of thing, again in date order. So it starts to piece together history of different places, and then over this side will be memorabilia, stuff that we've sold, or stuff that comes in the future in due course to be sold, whether that be the attractions. There's usually souvenirs of types, isn't there? There's usually sort of brochures or programs or whatever they put out, which would be really interesting to track the development of places when rides arrived at a theme park, when they left, and all that kind of thing. Books, there's loads of books about these places. Say posters, postcards. Of course, there's thousands and thousands of postcards, isn't there? I'm not sure how you're going to arrange postcards yet, because they could suddenly fill up a whole page. But like all these things, as more and more information comes in, I just rewrite the code of the pages to try and rearrange it in a better way. Yeah, so there we are. So that's what I've been working on. So both those systems are up and running, as it were. There's still a bit more tweaking to do on the pages, on the layouts and things. Should, you know, if you look on a smaller screen like a phone or something, everything's kind of zooms into different sizes and goes to 1 column wide instead of 2 column wide, and so on and so on. But if you're on a particular device and you notice something weird happens with the layout, I don't use any Apple things, so I use PC I work on, laptops, Android phone, Android tablets. So I have to kind of trust that it works on Apple stuff, because I don't have any Apple devices. But hopefully it works on everything. The joys of programming these days are trying to program for so many different devices, so many different screens, whether people look at them sideways or upright, and so on and so on. It's very, very complicated. That's what takes half the time in trying to figure out layouts. But there we go. So that's what we're working on. So of course there's, you know, 60, 70 piers, and there's, you know, lots of model villages, all sorts of other attractions, loads of amusement parks, towers, any kind of thing like that. So we'll start writing lists of those together, and then hopefully people will help add to it. I will do in due course. I'll put some buttons here somewhere to, you know, suggest an addition or something. So if you remember a particular park or pier or attraction of some kind that I haven't got listed, there'll just be a little pop-up form to add it on, basically. And the same again with the actual in the factoidy section here. I've got programmed that bit yet, but there'll be a little form at the bottom. So as long as you're signed in as a to the website, so it doesn't get full of spam junk. If you know something about somewhere, then add it in. And in due course, we'll be doing a some kind of prize draw type thing as a bit of incentive to people who are making the effort to give information in. Something else is in the pipeline being worked on, but that'll be up and running in a week or two, hopefully, as well. So there we are. So any comments, questions, and all that lot, then fire away by all means. If you've got any ideas on how it can be improved, which I'm sure there's many ideas on how it can be improved, then do let me know. So there's only basically those 2 pages at the moment that are linked from, but the system will work on any page. It's just those 2 I've been playing with information. Then the other thing I'll do as well, where people are mentioned, because a lot of the history of all this stuff, be it making machines, running parks, circuses or shows or whatever, obviously involves people. And there are some crossover of people, like the Bryan Zone in Drayton Manor Amusement Park, of course, and the most obvious one we probably all know. So we'll be able to link people to different things as well. So you'll be able to click on Bryan, and I don't know, probably a pop-up page or something with a picture of him and, you know, a little bit about him or something and what he's linked to. So yeah, there we are. That's the plan. Loads more programming to do yet, but it's getting there. It's working. And then there's several lifetimes worth of data to be put in, which is another thing altogether. But there we are. Got to build it before we can fill it. That's the point with that one. Right, let me have a mouthful of tea. Evening, Paul. Hope you're well. Evening, David. Looks great. Yes, thank you very much. Then yeah, I've been doing a load of other programming stuff, which is sort of stuff you don't really see really at the moment, but it will show in due course. And then some of it's sort of back end stuff for me to administer the site, if you like, just kind of back officey stuff to make things a little bit quicker and a little bit easier to move things around and change things. It was difficult. There's various here and there, every now and again, to spot something is in the wrong category. You know, so you'll be looking at, I don't know, fairground auger figures, and there'll randomly be a enamel sign in it or something because for some reason or other it just got stuck in the wrong category. So before now that was a bit of a pain to change. I had to go delving into the database to do it. But, I've programmed myself some little buttons now to move things around, so that should make it quicker to fix those little mistakes. If you find any, let me know, of course. Yeah, so there we are. So that's where we're at with that. As I say, cataloguing stuff I'll be cracking on with tomorrow. I've got a really busy month ahead with various things going on. So I'm going to try and keep on top of the stuff as it comes in. So expect some lots to appear on here tomorrow. Right, should we have a look at some little films? Where's my headphones? Actually, I think the first two of these have got no sound, only about 30 seconds long, but it was a case of trying to find the earliest little films I could of Blackpool Illumination. I think 1929 is the first one. I think it was 1929, 1931, with no sound, only about 30 seconds long. And then some slightly later either side of the war, and then 1969, I think, is the last one, which is in colour. And they have some usual, typical, jolly, you know, very well spoken commentary, which is always quite amusing. So let's have a look at 1929, the first one, I think. Here we are. So obviously one of the trams. Going along. And I think there's some of the pleasure beach as well in this one, was there? Or it might be the next one. Oh yeah, that's the earliest little clip I found at the moment, 1929. So then we've got 19 Scintillating City, 500,000 lamps, apparently on this one. Again, it's good, these little clips, especially in the commentary, they give some details of how many lights there were, how many miles of cable there were, and all that sort of thing, how much they cost, which is all quite interesting. So that information will go down in the little descriptions in the factoid section. I'll do a page about Blackpool Illuminations. And of course there's various other illuminations up and down the country. We've sold some Blackpool illumination bits over the years. We've sold some Walsall illumination bits. Some Southend, I think, I seem to remember selling. So, yeah. This one, I think, I'll just scroll back a bit. Was this one that had a little bit of a... some Mickey Mouse, early Mickey Mouse, yeah. Oops, sorry, I was trying to pause it on the right page. There we are, yeah. That's clearly early Mickey, 1931, Mickey Mouse came out 28. We usually got a Mickey top on. So, I wonder if they had a proper license back in there. Interesting to know, wouldn't it? If they just did it. I presume it was probably licensed. Just make some tea before it goes cold. Right, I was going to eat this so I can listen to the commentary as well. So let me just grab my headphones. The next one is 19... what's this one? What are we on? Number 2, 35, 1935. With a bit of commentary, which is good.
300,000 lights of various colours, searchlights playing over sea and sky, floodlights on buildings, all these things have turned Blackpool into an immense magic fairyland by night. The illuminations, which have just started, will last for 5 weeks, will cost about £16,000, and some 3 million visitors are expected to join in this night revelry of twinkling lights. Already over 300,000 people have seen them over the weekend. Amongst several special features, there are tableaus depicting an old world wedding, jugglers, the lights giving a wonderful impression of movement, and the grand tableau showing the arrival of Charles Dickens in Blackpool.
Oops, that's 1935. I think the thing with those is there's, oops, it just goes on to the next, onto another clip apparently on the thing. How, you know, they're essentially really simple, just often only a 2-circuit flashing, but the effects they gave, the people who made them were very, very clever, really good artists. There's one, I don't think I've put it in, but there's another one I found that has some almost like fireworks going off. I think it's a bit of a longer clip and was no commentary again, so I'll put it on the website rather than bore you with that one on here, but there's a few different ones I found. So that's 35. The next one is...
Famous Lancashire resort brings out its night lights from the tower all along the front. Niagara Falls keep on falling, and the watermill keeps on turning. Mary, Mary, how your garden does grow, and the bonfire burns like... Where there's light, there's dark, and where there's dark, there's... Yes, I know, it's a low-down trick. Cinderella goes to the ball, and long before she gets there, she seems to be all lit up.
That one just about caught some of those firework ones, actually. I've just noticed, and I'll play them again. Just scroll.
Famous Lancashire resort brings out its night lights from the tower all along the front. Niagara Falls keep on falling, and the watermill keeps on turning.
It was just after the fire one, which was the bonfire, Guy Fawkes.
Mary, Mary, how your garden does grow, and the bonfire burns like...
Just there.
Where there's light, there's dark, and where there's dark, there's... Yes, I know, it's a low-down trick. Cinderella goes to the ball, and long before she gets there, she seems to be all lit up.
So that was 37. I think that was the last one I got for prior to the war. So this one, 49.
This is the Gaumont British News, presenting the world to the world. With the shortening days, there are signs that our wonderful summer is waning. But the darker evenings have their compensations. For Blackpool's lights are switched on and her famous illuminations dazzle the night sky for the first time for 11 years. No need for depression at the passing of sunny hours. There's a feast of colourful variety for visitors to this famous northern holiday centre. Blackpool turns on the lights again, and our hearts rejoice at the prospect of brighter times ahead, as the great switch-on obliterates once and for all the memory of the darker years following 1938.
Yeah, gotta love the jolly music. So it's interesting. So 38 was the last year, which makes sense, doesn't it? And the previous clip was 37. Nice to try and find a 1938 clip. And then that 1949 was the first time they were back on after the war. So there we are. Then the last one is 1969, I think, in colour, this one.
Even for those who have never been there, the sight's unmistakable. Blackpool, for 52 nights every year, an off-peak bonanza for the electricity board, and a delight for the thousands drawn to the Northwest Resort by the lure of the lights. Along 7 miles of promenade, 375,000 multicolored electric light bulbs change night into a technicolor mass of murals and moving scenes, flashing and twinkling their message of good times in store for those who often brave some pretty bleak weather to witness the wonderland of Watts. This year's presentation, the 37th since 1912, when Blackpool got lit up for the first time, is costing a cool £145,000. Total value of the illuminations is about £500,000. To set them up and keep them going keeps a team of 125 men pretty busy during the season. There's a total of 50 miles of lamp strings and 75 miles of cables and wiring to look after. Coach loads, train loads and cars full of light seers make an annual beeline for Blackpool. Hotels and guest houses put out the full-up signs, And at this time of year, they ought to call Blackpool Light Pool.
There you go. I love those animated Disney ones at the end. I'd like to own those. I wonder what happened to those. Scrapped, I guess, like most of it, which is a real shame. But there we are. We've sold some bits over the years. Just some odds. As I've got many on the website. Let's go back over here again. They will be under probably miscellaneous. See if we can find them. This is the thing. You now got these, or will have very shortly, the illuminations page up. I'll be able to add them to it. Illuminations. Here we are. Yeah, so we had an owl. That was an unpainted one. These things are Walsall illuminations, so we'll do a Walsall illuminations page, see if we can find any video of that. That'd be good. That's Walsall again. There's some Blackpool ones somewhere. Don't know if there's any on there. There might have been before. I know there's some right down the bottom here. There's a Blackpool. Big sort of pelican-y things. Again, it'd be great to find some video with the bits that we've sold. A weird thing, one with a fish in his mouth. That's an owl, a painted owl, that one. Had some more as well, though. Obviously, they must have been back in the days when we were doing the sales at Huntingdon Racecourse or whatever. I don't have any photographs of those or not, which is a shame, but... Oh, Party Popper, there's one there, look. Party Popper. Blackpool Party Popper. That's for the millennium year, apparently. So yeah, I know a few odd people, whatever, really listening, but I know a few of our customers have got odd bits of illuminations and things. They do sell them off. So yeah, if anybody's got any, it'd be great to get some photographs of them and add them onto the page. Yeah, so there we are. So all good stuff, really, isn't it? Right, what should we look at now? Let's go back to, let's put this page up with the Brian's factoid list on. Yeah, so that's where I'm up to. That's what I've been busy doing all weekend, or the last few days. Need some sleep tonight, I think, because I've had a lot of late nights programming. I tend to do my best programming late at night, or at least I convince myself I do. What usually happens is I get so into something, and they're trying to get something to work, and it doesn't want to, and you spend hours and hours and hours trying to figure out why, and it's usually because I've used a semicolon instead of a colon somewhere in the code or something daft like that, or put something in square brackets instead of curly brackets, or, you know, if you code stuff, will know exactly what I mean. But yeah, so I keep going until something works, then look at the clock and it's suddenly 4 o'clock in the morning. But never mind, it's working now, which is great. Peter says there were a large Blackpool spaceship on eBay last year. Well, that sounds good. I remember there being some giant flying saucers and the illuminations. I remember driving under those a few years back. Yeah. But yeah, again, if you find any photographs anywhere, if you've got any, if you own any bits, I'd be even more interested to see them. Send them in and I'll add them on. I'll do an illuminations page in the new attractions section. I'll do a main illuminations heading then, so we'll do Blackpool and Walsall, so was one because we sold some bits of that. Southend illuminations, various other seaside towns did them to a greater or lesser extent. Obviously Blackpool's the most famous. And just see what we can find. There's another interesting thing. And I'd say again, with any of the rest of it, if you've got stuff, I'll be really interested to see it. Yeah. Right, so that's all that, I think. Anything else I need to tell you? Let's have a think. So this coming week, I'm around Cambridge pretty much all week if you want to come and collect anything or drop anything off for the next auction. Saturday I'll be at the Elephant House, sort of lunchtime as usual, either side of lunchtime. Let me know if you want to meet there, because all the stuff is stored in Cambridge. So if you collect anything, then I need to put it on the van. But if you want to drop anything off, that's great. Alan is coming on the 25th 4th, I think, and that's going to be his last trip then for a couple of months. So bear in mind, if you've got anything you need shipping out, I want Alan to do it, get hold of him pronto. He's coming with an empty van, so he should have plenty of space. He's doing a trip just to us, so space shouldn't be an issue. And equally, if you've got anything on any of his routes in the next week or two you want him to pick up, to ship into us, to sell, again, get hold of him quickly, because he's, I know he's got limited space for pickups from elsewhere, but as I say, he's coming to me with an empty van, because he's got quite a bit of stuff to pick up. So as I say, get hold of him quickly so you're not disappointed. Then after the May auction, as I say, Alan will still be on his little bit of hiatus for a week or two, I think. So if you're really stuck, we'll just have to, I'll have to do it instead, won't it? I can be your delivery driver, you'll have to pay me instead. But we'll sort something out, so don't panic about it. We'll get around it. Yeah, so there we are. I think that's it from me. Will I do a video tomorrow night? I don't know. I'll see. I usually do Tuesday nights, but I didn't do yesterday's. I've done today instead. I might leave it until Friday. I'll see if there's anything much to report. Just keep an eye on the website. Also, I want to try and get some soft catalogue tomorrow. I might do a quick one. If I get on well with the cataloguing of the machines and things, then we might do a quick live stream tomorrow night, just in case there's any question on any of those machines, etc., that have come in. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm all illuminated out. I need a cup of tea, something to eat, and an early night tonight, I think. Catch up with a little bit of sleep. So there we are. Thank you very much, as per usual, everybody, and we'll see you probably tomorrow night, if not Friday as usual, and see what else we can find to look at. Yeah, happy finishing off your Easter eggs. Nighty night. Yes, night all.